Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. There has been just continually more and more attacks against the Jewish people in Israel day after day after day. In fact, on the screen behind me now, you're actually viewing the camera footage there that was taken by the CCTV. A Palestinian man stabbing. He actually works for Bezek, the internet providing company there in Israel. He came out of his car after he rammed several of them with his car. This happened several days ago now. There was a security guard there. He did manage to kill him in the time, but the man just continually gets up after being shot several times. He continues to attack as best he can, but he is taken out. And then from there, things have only gotten worse. It's been one after another after another. And of course, Mahmoud Abbas is calling for the United Nations to actually bring in a United Nations force, which thankfully that Prime Minister Netanyahu has rejected. In fact, if a United Nations force was in Israel, it would only get worse. It would not get any better. It would actually get worse. It would increase the violence in Israel, because then the Palestinians would be able to continue to murder Jews without the Jewish people being protected by the Israeli people. So it's not going to make anything better. It would certainly get worse. And that's the last thing that Israel needs, is anything like this to happen to begin with. Another attack here that we had happen this week already here, or earlier this week. This was a surprise attack here. It caught Israel really much off guard. In this photograph here, you can clearly see, we had showed some of the video footage of this, but the video footage taken by a Palestinian news crew or an Arabic news crew did not do it justice. In fact, their news footage actually made it look like that the Israelis were just out there shooting a guy, you know, for no reason. But as you can see in the image here, especially down here, the Arabic guy here, he's a so-called Palestinian. He was actually dressed as a press person. And from what we've understood thus far, he actually did work for the press. He grabbed an Israeli soldier. He has the Israeli soldier locked down in his arms, stabbing him as the Israeli military runs around and shoots and kills him. And the siege, of course, ended. But this is ongoing. And then today in Israel, the saddest thing yet to happen here, you'll actually get to see the footage here. The people, CCTV footage here. An Arabic terrorist, a Palestinian there, he comes into the bus station there in Israel, and he manages to get the rifle after stabbing an Israeli soldier. He gets his military semi-automatic rifle and begins going through and killing people in the station. Now, the footage here does not unfold. People are running. You even see soldiers running, but these in Israel, it is very common for soldiers that are in training not to be armed. I really believe that Israel must change this policy immediately. If you are going to have Israelis in uniform, you must have them armed at all times. Now, there is a person pointing to the screen there as they're reviewing what's going on. There he comes now, one of the terrorists there. There was more than one terrorist there. He shot the person there. He shoots the people that are laying on the floor there several times. The terrorists, by the way, are constantly on the move as they're killing, whether they're with knives, whether they're with guns, whatever they may be. They attack and run, attack and run. This is one of the reasons why it is critical that anyone, civilian, guard, military personnel, as soon as they confront this situation, it is almost imperative that they use deadly force, because it happens so fast, so quickly. It makes it nearly impossible for the Israeli military or security or even individuals to do anything else but to kill the individual that is involved. It has to be taken in a case like this. I'm very much pro-life, but I understand the situation that the Israeli people are under with this situation. They've grayed out a lot of the screen looking at, because these are the people that have been are shot, wounded. The latest report, according to the article here, is that 11 people were injured. That's been reported on Haaretz. On Israel National News, says one person was killed and 6 people have been injured. That has been up to 11. The shooting, stabbing, terror attack in Beersheba Central Bus Station. One of the casualties was seriously injured and 4 more have suffered moderate wounds. The 6th casualty is lightly wounded, according to the Magen David Adom chief Eli Ben. By the way, those that may not be familiar, Beersheba is the country of Israel there. It is way away from pretty much everything else there, but it is a community that is very much mixed between Arabic people and the Israelis there. Very sad situation indeed. And moving on into another article here that I want to share with you, and this one here is very serious as well. This is Nasrallah, who he is now calling on for people to join in. He is the leader of Hezbollah. He's calling for an intifada to save the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now, believe it or not, that's what he's calling for, to save the Al-Aqsa. And I'm blown away by this to begin with. He is justifying his reasoning for having the war. And so let's look at what the article says here. It says, Hassan Nasrallah, leader of the Lebanese terror group Hezbollah, has expressed support for the wave of Arab terror attacks targeting Israeli civilians, security forces, the Jewish state. In a speech delivered on Sunday, Islamic nations to mobilize and demonstrate support for the Palestinian struggle. Now, it's very important that we look at this a little bit deeper here, and the reason I say that is and the Pope is actually calling for gestures of peace. That's kind of a joke in itself, you know. He claimed, let me just say this here, why they got him up here on here. He's calling for peace. Remember, the Bible says that they would call peace and safety, and there is no peace. Just a quick thought on that there for you guys there. But it is Nasrallah that is the main person here that is nothing but a terrorist himself, and he is the one that is calling on this onslaught against the Jewish people there. But anyway, it goes on to say here that in a speech delivered on Sunday, Nasrallah called on both Palestinian people and the Islamic nations to mobilize and demonstrate support for the Palestinian struggle. The renewed intifada is only way to free Palestinians from the occupation and save Al-Aqsa. It is incumbent on everyone to help them, Nasrallah asserted. Now, you have to understand, this is the exact type of wording that will take and bring in other Arabic nations in for the fight. And by the way, not only is Nasrallah calling on it, now Hamas is in the Gaza Strip there. They are calling upon Russia to intervene on their behalf. Russia is already down in Syria. Russia, as I've said before in one of our prophetic news broadcasts there, Russia is there to secure the area of Syria, to put an end to the United States' armed-backed rebels that were overthrowing Bashar Assad. They are there to take the problem of ISIS away from Hezbollah. Nasrallah, the guy you're seeing on your screen there now, they're there to take away the problem that he's been dealing with, fighting the armed rebels that have been fighting Bashar Assad. He's been fighting these guys for quite some time now, and he had vowed back in January that he was not ready for a war with Israel as of yet. He did not want to fight two fronts at one time. And he vowed to take the Golan. Now, this is exactly what is on the table. This is what the plans are. This is actually what, when people look at Psalm 83 is actually the confederacy. It is the plot and the plan of the Arabic nations with the Pope of Rome. This is exactly what they're wanting to do. Let me just quickly pull that up for you there too. They want to have the Pope of Rome to get involved in this with them, because the Pope of Rome, he's the man that can actually, he wants Jerusalem. This is exactly what the Pope wants. The Pope wants Jerusalem. He is determined to have Jerusalem, and he's not going to stop until he gets it. And he's very much he is very much pro-Arabic nations. As you can see him here on your screen there, he sides with the Arabic people. Avi Lipkin, he told Avi Lipkin, or actually one of his people in his staff told Avi Lipkin that if he is not for the Palestinians, then the Vatican will not be for them. He's very pro-Arabic, just like Barack Obama is pro-Arab. This is probably one of the reasons why Obama actually made it into the administration to begin with, because of course all the pontiffs that have ever been in the Vatican are always looking for pro-Arabic people. They created the Arabic religion to begin with, so this is exactly what they have need of. They need people that are pro-Arabic states in the first place there. So now he's calling on this holy war. He's calling on a jihad, and this is part of what has to happen. Nasrallah, with the Hezbollah fighters there in Lebanon, they will attack from Israel's north, along with the Iranian special forces that are in Damascus, even now, that have been deployed there, will attack from Israel's northern border, also on the eastern side there, and they will end up taking the Golan. Now, of course, the whole reason for causing the unrest in Syria was to get all the people out of Syria so that they could drill for oil in the long run. They don't want to have to be able to drill where their cities are full of people. They need to get the people out in order to turn into oil fields. So that's one of the main reasons for the major shift of getting the people out. And at the same time, they want to totally wipe the Jewish people off the map. As Psalm 83 says, "Come, let us make that the name of Israel is no longer in remembrance." So everyone is calling to attack and to kill the Jews is exactly what all the Arabic states are doing. It's what the nations are doing completely around the world. The Obama administration is against Israel. They may say that they're not, but they are. The European Union is against Israel. In fact, the European Union, many of the states in the European Union do not even report the terrorist attacks that are happening here. We mentioned the other day how that in a hospital, I believe we brought this out, that in a German hospital, there was a German doctor that was treating a child, I think it was a 10-month-old child that was on the brink of dying. The child did die, even with the best care that they could give the child. But then the Syrian family, the Arabic family, attacked the doctor, the nurses, stabbed them all up. But of course, they went free. There was no charges pressed against them. The doctor was in serious condition. The nurses are still in the IC unit. And of course, there's been a gag order on. European media cannot even bring this out. Of course, Western media knows nothing about it whatsoever. Very serious things that are happening all across Europe, and this is only just one of the many things that are taking place here. In Sweden, it's just been reported that there have been 3 camps in the last few days that were set aside for the refugees coming into Sweden, and they've all been burned. Not totally devastation, but have been burned because the people don't want it to happen, but the governments all want it to happen. Nonetheless, Nasrallah is calling for an intifada, a jihad. They will take the Golan for the sake of, it's not for the Palestinians, it's to regain back the Golan for the Syrian people. This is the reason why they're doing that. They want to gain it for the Syrian people. I kind of like the way the play button fell right on his mouth. I can control when he gets to speak. Anyway, it's just kind of a little humor there. But anyway, they're definitely wanting to take control of that. They want to get it for the oil fields. Russia will probably not get engaged in the battle directly, but they will definitely give them support. And who knows what may happen for there. Will the United States actually back their ally as long as Barack Obama is in office? I do not see that happening. Many people have turned against Israel. A lot of your senators and congressmen still stand with Israel. They are willing to do measures. They've even been calling on not giving any more of the money to Mahmoud Abbas of the Palestinian Authority there. But we're on the verge of a major war breaking out in Israel. Hamas, no doubt, will start launching rockets once they have gotten the go-ahead there. And so I think that's only just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Very, very, very tense situation, very serious situation that is happening there in Israel there. So at any rate there, this is what's going on. Just to try to give you a recap there. Again, more killings in Israel, more things are happening. It's on a daily basis. It's not letting up. It's not slowing down. There have been marches being made with both Palestinian and Jews coming together there in Israel. I was glad to see that, to where they've united together for the stopping of the violence. I will say that I do realize that not all Palestinian people are violent. We do know that, and I appreciate that fact. I appreciate that the Jewish people and the Palestinian people that are for peace have came together to march and to show that they do not want the violence. But unfortunately, you're not going to stop a wave of suicide terrorists. I call them suicide terrorists because they know good and well when they go out to commit these acts, the chances of them surviving the attacks is very, very minimal, because Israel is not playing games. They are shooting to kill. And they do not take you captive. They are shooting to kill. That's really the only message that's really going to be sent to the Palestinian people, for them to realize Israel is not playing games. Again, I want to iterate as well, I think it is imperative that the Israeli government arm every single soldier in uniform. Whether they're in training or not, they must be armed. You must do it now. If you don't, you're going to have more Israeli soldiers killed because they're not armed. I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live. Shalom.